Hi, it's Zoe. Welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited today because it's my favourite video of the month. It's the monthly beauty and anti-aging and lifestyle favourites. So I hope everybody's had a good July. We've had in the UK a very mixed July. We've had a lot of rain. We've had then extremes and we've had very hot weather, but there's really, as usual with the British summer, seems to be the pattern. We've had very little consistency. I'm also doing, if you're not aware, I'm also doing a video every Friday, hopefully, unless business precludes this, which will be geared to any health topic. Now, just to let you know, my background is really as a nutritional therapist, but specializing in hormones, weight management, stress management, gut restoration. So all of any sort of dis-ease, if you like, that encompasses those things. Just so that you're aware, I am running a seminar next Thursday, which is the 12th of August at 7 p.m. British Standard Time on the subject of osteoporosis. So if there's anybody listening who would be interested in joining, there's a very small fee, and I will add the link below, and we cover literally every single angle of that condition. Okay, without further ado, let's get on to the favourites. I'm so excited today. Okay, so it's been July, and like you said, we've had extremes of temperatures, which has meant the skin, I've had to really pay attention to skincare. Obviously, there's the aging aspect, there's the fact we've had extreme temperatures and therefore dehydration, which I absolutely hate my face to be dehydrated. And I'm sure if anybody's listening here who are within my age demographic, that skincare has become more of a priority, let's say, over than me splashing out on makeup. I'm very minimalist when it comes to my makeup, and I sort of divert that budget resource, if you like, in skincare. So first of all, I have also noticed that I think because wearing a little bit of suntan, suntan enhancers, if you like, on the face, which I again will be going into in a minute, you kind of get that build up on your face, and also your face just feels, I don't know, just like it needs a good exfoliate. Now, I don't exfoliate my skin very much, to be fair, but I have done recently, and I've really noticed the difference. And obviously, of course, the products that you then use going into your skin a lot more. And I've been using this one by Nip and Fab. It's available in Boots in the UK, and it's a glycolic and salicylic acid scrub. It is quite harsh. You have to be careful if you have very, very sensitive skin. My skin's sensitive in the sense it goes red. I don't know whether you experience that. My skin goes very red if I use products, but this redness soon goes down. But if you had ultra sensitive skin that was had a propensity to break, then you would need to be very cautious. I think you need to be cautious with scrubs anyway, but this isn't the mildest scrub in the world. But what I tend to do is add it on, and I leave it for 5 minutes, because with the glycolic, you need to leave those acids to kind of do their stuff. You kind of don't need to scrub too much, just kind of, you know, a little bit, leave the acids to do their job, wash it off. And it's a really, really lovely product. Now I'm going to talk about a range of products. Now, I think I mentioned, if you saw my beauty favorites last month, that I was really trying to transition certainly into cruelty-free, parabens, no nasty chemicals, as much as possible. And I have actually been dabbling in a little bit to making my own oils, which one of my biggest YouTube videos 10 years ago was me doing the CoQ10 turmeric mask, which I think had about nearly 100,000 views. It was crazy. And I still do that. So I don't want you to think that I don't still use my own and make up my own skincare. And I will probably do a video on that sometime, some things I use, because you can't beat your own oils sometimes. However, for practicality's sake, and the fact that I'm traveling and all the rest of it sometimes, and when I say traveling, within the UK at the moment, I've come across the brand Tampa Spa. Now, this is a UK-based brand. It's was formulated, well, certainly the idea for this brand was formulated over 21 years ago. It was a couple inspired by their trips to the Mediterranean and all of the indigenous botanicals that they could find in that area. So very, very much inspired by that. It's a cruelty-free brand. It's vegan. And I think they're sort of obviously transitioning towards getting some organic products as well. So it's just been fantastic. And I've used this product. It's only available through consultants. So I will go through the products I've been using and I will leave you an email contact for a consultant. I don't sell this product. I have just totally, I don't get a kickback from this. I just totally have enjoyed this. And this is their little brochure, by the way. So you can see that they do a range of cleansers, toners, masks and scrubs, special attention areas. We all have those as we age, moisturizers and advanced anti-aging. So the products I've really been enjoying that have been apropos for our climate at the moment. One of my favorites has been, it's called the Ahhh Instant Cooling Balm. Oh, I am a little bit of a headache sufferer. I've mentioned that in previous videos. And this is contains, I think it's menthol, rosemary. What's it say on here actually? Menthol, peppermint, sorry, and dandelion. And it's just the most, it is what it says on the tube. It's that aha moment when you put it on. It's so cooling, so refreshing. I love it around my neck, you know, on a really hot day when you just want to cool yourself down. Apply a tiny little bit to your temples. Be careful of the eye area because it is quite a strong menthol zing. You can even put it on your feet after a hard day and you just, you know, you want your feet to have that moment. I don't know whether it's an age thing, but I feel I need more aha moments as I age. Anyway, this does the job. It's great. So highly recommend that product. After we've done the scrub, of course, we have to put on our SPF. I'm very rigorous about SPF. Not all over the body. We want to get our vitamin D. We want to go out in the sun. We've got very, very low levels in the UK of vitamin D. Almost as a nutritionist, nearly everybody I look at has suboptimal vitamin D, and that does not do well for many, many health conditions. So we don't want to be slapping it on all over. Different if we're going out into 40 degrees and we're sunbathing, but in the UK, we're generally not doing that. However, we do need to preserve the face a little bit. And Tampa Spa have a brilliant Life Defense. It works superbly under makeup because it's ultra light. It's UVA, UVB, broad spectrum. It's got a complex of rocket, ginseng, vitamin E and hyaluronic acid. So it's got that sort of bouncy feel, but does dry down really nicely. So you can put your foundation over the top. It's really, really lovely. And the only other one that I really do like, and I do have to give it a mention because I still do use it because it's lovely hand size. It's hard to find in the UK, is the Vichy. It's called the ID Soleil, and this is actually a factor 50, this one. And it's ultra leger and fresh. It's very, very lightweight, so does extremely well also under makeup. And you can't beat the Vichy range of products. Two other really fabulous products from Tampa Spa, the eye Truffle. So really had to pay attention to my under eye area. It gets very dry. I'm one of these people, you know, have an early morning walk with the dog. It could be raining, hailing, not in summer, but you know what I mean. The conditions really dry out your eye area. And I'm a very expressive person as well, as I'm sure you've gathered from the videos. And so I use my eyes a lot and they just get tired and they just dry out really easily. So this is a fabulous, it's called Round the Clock Restoration. It's the Eye Truffle 24-hour eye rejuvenation from Tampa Spa. And its ingredients include cashmere, which is just very, very luxurious. It's very, very very useful, good and effective. Really like it as an eye cream. I mean, let's face it, nothing is going to completely erase wrinkles. The idea is to keep that eye area hydrated, but not too hydrated. So, because what I have found, I don't know whether you found it too, some eye creams are so rich that you actually end up more with a puffy eye in the morning. And I don't think that is conducive to the eye really either. So, because that can lead to fine lines too if you're using too rich of a cream. So that's kind of just like the perfect balance. And I do have a dry skin. If you had an oily skin, I think it would be fine actually on all skin types. But mine, I'm obviously aging eyes, so dry around the eyes. And then the other one is the Truffle Delight, and this is the Hydra Gel Moisturizer. So it's a perfect, I think, day moisturizer. It works superbly well under makeup as well. And its ingredient list is just really amazing. I'm going to read it out to you because it's got so much. It's weightless, silky texture, rich in amino acids, minerals, skin valuable sugars. It contains truffle, rose quartz, and it really helps, brighten the skin. It's got some botanical caviar and kombucha to hydrate, and extracts of gold and champagne, strawberry seed oil and prickly pear to provide the antioxidant qualities. So very, very luxurious cream, and really, really lovely. Really like it. So, yeah, so the Truffle Delight, highly, highly recommend. And the other thing, again, from their range, and you can see, I bought, so that range I bought, I would say, in the last 6 weeks. This cream I've had some time, and this is because I decided with age I needed to pay a little bit more attention to the old neck area, because I've always been very good at applying creams from here up and forgetting that actually this area is starting to look a bit, I'm starting to get the turkey neck. I've put it down to all my computer work. But anyway, so this is the Exalt Firming Neck Gel. And again, it's got that beautiful hydro gel texture, which just blends. Oh, it's just weightless, it's soothing, it's so moisturizing. But again, it gives you a little bit, not quite as much as the Ahhh cream, but it gives you that sort of Ahhh feeling to it somehow. It's really, really gorgeous. Very, very highly recommend. So the great thing with Tampa Spa is they have quite a lot of deals going on. So rather than just buy a product through the consultant, but I will leave her links below, I'm sure that she wouldn't mind if you dropped an email, because if you want several products, quite often they have many deals going on all the time throughout the seasons, I understand. And they also do tanning, and it's a very, very big line. So I'm sure if you needed to get even a brochure, my friend would be happy to give you further details of the line, and let you know what the deals are at the present time. Okay, so those are the Tampa Spa products. Very, very highly recommend. So then, again, we haven't had very much sun. I avoid tanning my face at the best of times anyway, but I do like a little bit of radiant tanning glow through the summer. So what I have been using, this is an old favorite. This appeared way back in my Little Miss 40 days, where I mentioned self-tanning on the face. Now, does it cling to any pigmentation? Slightly. Would any product that was self-tanning cling to, when I say cling to, make them slightly a little bit more uneven? Any product. There is not one on the market that will completely and utterly, because I have a little bit of melasma going on, hormones, So, but it doesn't make it horrendous. No, 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 no. And that plus a little bit then of the exfoliating well will give you a nice smooth canvas. But and you don't get build up with this. I used a self tan on my body recently. I think it was called Bondi Sands. Oh my goodness, I couldn't believe how badly that product came off. I looked like a patchwork quilt because I'd always used Chantecaille, and that when it dissolves, it comes off incredibly evenly, and I just looked awful. You don't get any of that. So when it comes off the skin, it certainly isn't patchy. But if you have slight unevenness in the face, try and get that as smooth as possible, of course, before you apply anything like this. But it's highly recommended. It gives a lovely, lovely natural tan. You don't look like an orangutan. It's very buildable. Generally, I only use it once because I don't like that really horrendous too tan a face, if you like, at my age now. But you could build that up if you wanted to have that really dark glow. You could use that over 3 or 4 days, and it is very nicely buildable. Now, I do want to mention this other product as well. It is expensive. It's by Terry, and it's called To Tam. And this has a spray solution. And if you can see here, it contains a lot of sort of like gold pigment as well. So it does have a slight sheen to it, not glitter. And what I tend to do is, on a day-to-day basis, I kind of like that to settle in the bottom so that really you've only got the brown mixture. But this gives a really, really nice glow with a little bit of tanning, if you like. It's just a very, very nice product. The only thing I would say is sometimes the spray, you spray it once, it works really well. Spray is really nice and fine and even, but if you spray again, it can go a bit blotchy. So you have to have a beauty blender at hand. Or what you also can do is spray it onto your hand and mix it in with either moisturizer or foundation and apply it that way. So that's my suggestions. It's a pricey product. It doesn't, it's not self-tanning. It just stays on the skin until you wash it off. But highly, highly recommend that as an alternative if you don't like the self-tanning mechanism on your face, which I know not everybody does. Okay, so I think those are my skincare favourites for the month. So not an awful lot of makeup. I covered quite a lot in last month's favourites, so I will link last month's favourites below if you've missed it. But I have had a few more products this month, one of which I've had my eye on for a while, and I only have one bronzer, which is the Hourglass bronzer. As you know, I have become extremely minimalist in my makeup purchases. That doesn't mean that they're always the cheapest, and Chantecaille is an expensive product, but I'm leaning towards definitely more liquid makeup as opposed to powder makeup as I'm getting older. I just find it looks more natural. I hate that powdery look on my face, and so if I have to spend a bit more, but I'm only literally having one of them, then that's just the way it has to be. And what I like about this Chantecaille is it's very seamless and natural. It blends out to be almost, you can blend it to get the color, perfect color for you. I don't know whether you can see that. You can see the lines on my wrist. You can see how natural that is. It looks a little bit bricky, like a brick, slightly bricky color. So no, it doesn't really make sense, does it, Zoe? It's certainly not orange base. It's got a slight red undertone to this bronzer. So I think if you were, although it looks very natural on my wrist, I am quite olive skinned. I think if you were very, very, very pale skinned, you would definitely need to test it first. It still blends out really well, but definitely want to try, and it's expensive, so you'd want to try it. But I actually saw one of my favorite YouTubers, Ttsandra. I'll put her link below. She's been a favorite of mine. She's been on YouTube for so long. In my early days at Miss 40, she was one of my favorites then, and she's still doing. She's just a gorgeous girl, and I love her recommendations. Barely go wrong with anything she suggests, and she suggested it, so that was why I went ahead and purchased it, and it is very nice. And I just want to point out Chantecaille. I googled and researched them, and they are 100% a cruelty-free brand. So again, I'm happy to spend the extra because my makeup collection is not big anymore. It's definitely something that I have paid more attention to as I have become more aware and educated. And I think so basically, you saw in last month's video that I bought one of their little single eyeshadows. This is a beautiful, beautiful color, and it came in a special limited edition range. I think they're limited edition, but they always have the wildlife, and I presume it's because, I haven't researched it, but I think it's because Chantecaille support, or they every year they put some of their money towards funding for the wildlife. So hence the picture of the giraffe on the front of this one. And I showed this in last month's favorites. It's a beautiful, beautiful bronze. Put it on my wrist. It's fabulous. And again, I saw somebody with this one, which of course is zebra. This one is giraffe. This is sensational, metallic, but perfect for the aging eye as well, because I have it on today in the inner corners. It really doesn't show the lines, and that's really, really rare with a metallic shade, because you tend to always go for matte eyeshadows as you get older, but sometimes that pop of color, and you can see it's slightly monochromatic. It's peachy, it's got peach, it's got bronze, it's got pink. Oh, it's a fabulous, but I think this one is definitely limited edition, and she really struggled to find that shade for me. So if you do like that color, it's beautiful. You need to look for it fairly quickly. I think it's not going to be around for too much longer. And the other Chantecaille product I bought was a lipstick. I have to say, so again, I'm down to about 6 lipsticks, I think, maybe even less in my collection. I do love the MAC Nip-On. That's one of my favorite shades. This shade is very similar. It is called Anais. It's a proper peach. I've never had Chantecaille lipsticks before. They are definitely the nicest lipstick I have ever worn. They're moisturizing. Sadly, the drugstore ranges, they have some great shades. There's no question they've really improved, but what I can't tolerate with a lot of them is the chemical taste. The L'Oreal lipsticks, for example, I just can't wear them, and they have lovely shades, but I just can't deal with it. So MAC, I have, what else? I think I have a couple of Chanel lipsticks, and this one's definitely a favorite. It is a very, very good quality, but I certainly wouldn't suggest, again, the Chantecaille makeup's pricey. Don't go out and buy it until you've swatched it and you're happy with the shade. And I know swatching in COVID times has been fairly challenging. The shade that I really do like in terms of lip glosses, I did mention last week, but I'm going to bring them up again in case nobody's seen last week's, because these are drugstore Maybelline lifter lip glosses. They've got about 6 or 7 colors, and they are sensational. They are soothing on the lips. They're moisturizing. You know, it's a lip gloss. They don't stay all day, but they're cheap enough to keep replenishing. got a slightly vanilla-y taste, which is really nice, but not too vanilla. And I don't know another, I mean, I've had all sorts of high-end, low-end lip glosses, and I don't know any better than those, really. Okay. Also been enjoying, I've been trying to work on the old eyelashes and eyebrows as I've got older. One thing I have noticed as, I don't think I've ever had a lot of eyebrow out here, but I have been using this, it's called V-Beauty Eyelash Growth Serum, and I've been using it both on my eyelashes and on my eyebrows, and it has definitely made a difference. I've been very, very consistent with it. And I do have hairs here now. I mean, they were so fine you could barely see them. And I have obviously used a little bit of brow enhancer pencil. But you can definitely, my eyelashes have really, really improved in their length as well. So I think as long as you're consistent with these growth serums, then they work. And certainly this one is probably not the best. The reason I got it was it wasn't the dearest. I know, I think it's from Vitalash. There's a few that are really, really expensive. And I was kind of like, oh, I'm not sure I want to put that kind of money out on something that may not really work. So I may invest in the higher priced ones. Do leave me a comment, actually. Do leave me a comment below if they're worth it. This was around the sort of £20 mark as opposed to the £80 mark. I think some of the more expensive ones were. And yeah, it's definitely helped me. Like say, over the period of, I would say, of 3 months, I've noticed a difference. I haven't got any lashes on today, but I do like these, always have this, they're like 3 lashes in one from Kiss. They come also in extra short, and short. So they just work really well, just to add a little bit of more definition into the corner if you're going out. But I certainly don't use them on a regular basis because I don't care that much. Okay, so now on to a few just generalized favorites. I am a big coffee drinker. Now, you will say, oh, you're a nutritionist, how can you say that you should be drinking coffee? It's really bad for you. Well, actually, no, it's not really bad for you. It can be really good for you, coffee. It has definitely been shown to be one of the greatest ways to detoxify your liver in terms of getting your, what they call the ALT levels down in the liver, which is a liver enzyme. So if they're raised at all, then drinking your coffee is a good thing. The trouble with coffee is, obviously you don't want to overdo it because we know it damages the adrenal gland and can, you know, certainly if you're a person who is highly stressed at the moment, you definitely don't want to be chugging the coffee down. I mean, that's just common sense. But in terms of detoxifying the body, then coffee can have its benefits. The trouble also with coffee is that it has contained some nasty chemicals. Just the sprays that have been used, it's contained endosulfans, just things that are not very good. So I was very, very pleased to see that Nespresso have brought out an organic range, and it is very, very nice coffee, delicious coffee. I think it's strength 7. So, and I'm normally drinking around strength 4 in Nespresso. So I haven't found it any more, certainly not more bitter. It's just a beautiful, beautiful coffee. I'm really, really hoping that they're going to make this permanent. I've been buying lots of it, so they go, yeah, so they get the message that, yeah, I've been after an organic. I think I wrote to Nespresso 4 years ago saying, please, can you bring out an organic coffee? Because if you're going to be drinking it, you want a good quality. So there you go, organic Nespresso coffee. Yay! I'm highly thrilled because I have maybe 1 coffee a day. It has to be a good one. Yeah. And then I know everybody's into their, I think the pandemic's made everybody, well, A, we're at home, or generally speaking, unless you've rushed off your feet like my poor husband. But generally speaking, people have had a little bit more time to think about, I think, their well-being. I've had a lot more clients come to me and really want to concentrate on getting themselves metabolically healthy, because whether you've had the vaccine, whether you haven't had the vaccine, we know that the risks, the variants are increasing, and we need to make sure that we can get ourselves in every way as healthy as possible. And that includes how we feel about life and our mental state and well-being, which has taken a knock during these times. So I highly recommend this magazine. It's available in Waitrose. I really don't know where else it's available. It's called Breathe. And it is what it's got the most beautiful articles on well-being, mindfulness. There's a creativity section, and just sort of escaping generally. And for me, there's always something to find in it that's interesting. Little bits of areas that I don't know so much about. There's usually a sort of a nutrition section, which is, you know, kind of interesting. But teachers, they usually pick something like waiting. How good are you at waiting? We're all very used to action, and sometimes we have to wait. Certainly with my nutrition business, I had to wait. I had to wait to be as qualified as I am. I had to wait to feel as confident as I have in front of clients that I wasn't going to miss anything. The waiting was challenging because, of course, you spend a lot of money on your education and you just kind of want to dive in there. But I realized that the patience was something that was not natural to me, but that I had to learn. So there's always a section on something like that. It could be, you know, anger, or, you know, any little facets of personality that sometimes we find challenging. So but also there's creative sections and nature, and it's, you know, just goodbyes, eco-friendly stuff, and it's do life your way. Yeah, it's a lovely magazine. I think it's around £5. It's you know, it's not super cheap. And then just in terms of the news, I highly suggest to everybody who comes to see me as a client that we pay attention to the news, but not every minute of the day, because I don't know whether you find this, but the news can be extremely overwhelming. We can do nothing about 99.999% of the information that we are fed. But I think it's led to a lot of fear. There's been a lot of exaggeration in some areas of the news. There's been areas of the news that we should have known about that have not been highlighted. So I think the journalists, I hate to say this, because there's going to be somebody who takes a side to what I'm saying. I think there's been a lot of mis and disinformation in the press that has made people psychological, without thought, people's psychological well-being. I think that's how I'll put it, which has been very serious. We've had a huge rise in suicide rate and depression, because people have got into phenomenal debt and they've had businesses fail. And yes, we have been in a pandemic, but there doesn't seem to have been a lot of balance in the news to say, well, actually, yes, we have had a very serious virus, but at the same time, we've got lots of people with lots of underlying health conditions. There's 1,000,001 health conditions that you can have that have not been helped by just listening to this constant bombardment of virus, vaccine, variant. You know, I think about my mother, who's 94 years old, and her listening to all of this information when she, you know, I mean, she's not at the beginning of her life, is she? Let's face it. And very depressing for the elderly, very depressing for people who we can't do anything about this news. So anyway, with all that blah, I do not listen to the news. I do not turn on the 6 o'clock news, the 10 o'clock news. I don't listen to Sky. I might just catch the online first thing in the morning, briefly, headline, just to see, you know, if the world's ended overnight. But if I'm waking up breathing, I'm assuming it hasn't. So I restrict my news to a weekly magazine. It's called The Week. It's available in the UK, and I love it. It's it's the world news. It's not just the BBC's idea and an interpretation of what we should be being fed. And it gives a very good synopsis. So who has time today? I used to read the Times cover to cover. I haven't got time to read this kind of thing now. I've got a business to run. I've got YouTube videos to make. Who has time? And this is a great synopsis. And it also has some light-hearted stuff in. You know, we want the news, but we want a balanced news. We want to see, you know, the films and TV and the great books that are coming out still, and the theatre and the opera, and, you know, properties, and, you know, things that make us happy and joyful, as well as obviously some serious things that we do need to keep abreast of. So that is my high recommendation to everybody. Just pay attention infrequently to the news and don't let it consume your every waking hour. Oh yes, and I did want to mention this. I bought this month because I love it so much. This is, I know they're all the rage, aren't they? These wicker bags. And this was from the National Trust, and I think they're still available. I'll put the National Trust website below if I can find, we'll find a link to it. So it's got a carabiner where I carry my dog's poo bag. How romantic. Yeah, it's gorgeous. And I think it was like £25, I think. So, you know, doesn't break the bank, just looks lovely. You know, kind of just very, very, very nice. I really, really like it. Inexpensive summer bag. This top, by the way, is from the White Company, if anybody's interested. I think I was wearing the black version. I've got white and black. The white is a lot sheerer, by the way. I don't like to reveal that much on this video. So you may want to wear a camisole underneath because it's just very sheer and lightweight. The black less so. This is in a size 8 and it's blouson. I'm generally a size 10, so I have sized down with this if you want, unless you want an incredibly baggy looking blouse. So yeah, but it's lovely. I've really lived in both of them because they're so easy. The black one I can wear to see clients as well as walk the dog. You know, it's kind of got that smart casual, but you know, in this day and age, fairly business appropriate look as well. So it's a good versatile blouse for the summer because really I haven't been spending any money on clothes. Don't know about you. So that I think is it for the July favourites. I hope you have enjoyed the offerings, and please do let me know down below what your July favourites were. And I wish you a very, very happy August, and I will be back at the end of August with the August favourites. But in the meantime, there will be some health videos hopefully coming out. I'm trying to do them every Friday, business permitting. My last video was on, we were looking at genetics and DNA and the sort of seed of illness. And my next video will be on all of the soil that creates, we call it the seed in the soil. So sometimes you have the seed for certain conditions, but they don't always express themselves if you're living a healthy lifestyle. So we're going to talk in the next video about environmental things that make disease conditions worse. If you have any suggestions for any medical or health topics you would like me to cover, my specialism is in hormones, so do leave them in the description box below. I will probably be doing obviously the typical video on weight gain. Why do we gain weight over 40 and what we can do about it if we want to do anything about it. That will probably be coming up fairly soon, as well as maybe some discussions on hormones, hormone replacement and alternatives. So, because obviously that's very relevant to women of 40 plus going into menopause. Okay, so I hope everybody has a great month, and I will see you soon. Take care, everybody. Bye.